Hello everyone, this is Greyshot 117 bringing you another Company of Heroes 2, the Western Front Armies commentary. Oh, what a big mouthful. Again, still thinking of something to say. But anyway, on my team is a new friend, Backdraft, Los Ranos, and Barcil. On the enemy team we have Prostas, AA Bad, Hobo, and Thundar. Okay, slightly better names. We are on City 17, sorry it's not one of the new maps. Still, in the rotation are the older maps. However, I am the Oberkommando West, so I'll be going over the tactics of this new faction. So the Oberkommando West is getting a lot of, I guess, stigma. It's one of the harder factions. Well, it's one of the harder hitting factions, similar to the original German faction because easier to control. They're very fuel strapped, but they have a lot of heavy armor, and they're pretty much the brute force, while the Americas are like the swift blow. But anyway, if we go over to my guy over here, okay, so Backdraft picked the Assault Supply Doctrine. Again, you can play as both the Oberkommando West and the normal Weimreich from the old games, and then you have the Americans and the Soviets. So anyway, I picked the Luftwaffe ground forces because I really do like actually the ground forces. I find it's the most unique. I wish it had some kind of. I don't like the airborne assault. I wish it was something a little different, but overall I do find it one of the better factions. Maybe I'll just wait down the line for something different. And again, I know there are 3 other factions from the beta experience I had. Anyway, let's get started. Of course, I send my stubborn pioneers up north, and I send Volksgrenadiers to capture this point. That way I know at least I have it, because these guys, well, we'll learn that, let's see, Los Ramos is blue and Barcy is yellow. These guys were a little bit iffy throughout the entire game. They were like focused on their side, and not exactly the best. The reason I say that is because while they did focus on their side pretty well, and did manage to help us out, the problem with this is, on this side, it's like if you focus, the issue is they focus on their fuel point and we focus on our fuel point over here. And by the way, I put myself in heavy cover, still did some damage. I'm like, these guys suck, I'm moving them in. Again, these guys are worth about 320. These guys are worth 160. With rifles, easily these guys are gonna trounce them because it's worth double the power. You need at least 2 long range to actually do something to this. Now, this is enough firepower to actually do some damage to it. So what I do is I bring up my Kerbal Wagon. This is, again, a mobile MG. It's actually really, really cool. And it's actually pinning these guys, and while these guys are in cover, it's still doing some damage. These guys got a star, very nice. Already got 5 kills. Great way to start off a game. I retreat them, keep the Kerbal Wagon here, and we'll move it up to counter these conscripts. Up here we see, let's see, a Backdraft setting up MG placements, very nice. And with his MG and my MG securing this area, we pretty much are good, because they can no longer capture this point or move up. I had to move these guys back because of, I'm sorry, not these guys. These guys back because of a simple attack over here. They hit a mine, so unfortunately, yeah, they didn't make it. Oh, this guy's okay. Never mind. So yeah, unfortunately, this thing is not exactly bulletproof. Normal bullet fire will actually take this thing out. So I retreat it. That way, my new guys, as soon as I heal these guys, I can send them in to heal it. Right now, Backdraft is again setting up more MGs. He's using a lot of MGs. If you use the scout car tactic, you can easily counter this, but still, it's still a hard thing to beat. Alright, Barcil also picked the Luftwaffe ground forces. Yeah, I've seen a lot, either they do the ground forces or they do the breakthrough tactics. I haven't really seen the third one being used. Anyway, I move up more Volksgrenadiers to help support my front line. In case they bring up scout cars, I can equip these with some rocket launchers and counter. Their cold ability has really no effect in this game, because of course it's not, Nova Blizzard. No chance for that. Anyway, so we see here the rifleman hobos on this side, along with, who is this? Pro Status. They're putting up a good fight against our allies, Los Ramos and Barcil. They're actually flanking, which is actually pretty cool, but that kind of failed on their part. But still, they're doing a lot of damage, and they're keeping our allies back from capturing these major points. We capture this point, but as you see, we have nothing defending it. Most of the fighting happens over here, and pretty much at our flanks. and there's nothing in the middle. So that's gonna come to our, that's gonna negatively affect us later. Oh look, my Kerbal Wagon's back up and ready to go, and now I have an MG fighting their MG. So, plus these guys long range, it's definitely not gonna be the best for them. So right now, Backdraft is putting up an MG bunker, which is great. That's an extra thing to hold them back, but unfortunately they're, oh, very nice. Their Pioneer Squad, not Pioneer, sorry, Grand Engineer Squad pretty much came up with a flamethrower and stopped them from doing anything. I have my guys secured over here. I'm going to move these guys over here in this green cover, because that way I can, it's a great overflow point. They're in heavy cover, but they can still flank and get all these guys over here. So if you want a good flanking position, that's what I would recommend. Anyway, luckily for us, we still had some MGs and whatnot over here, along with over here, so we were able to counter and push them back. I threw a grenade just in case because they were stubborn. But yeah, as you can see, we've done a pretty good job while holding them back. I moved my Kerbal Wagon over here so I can heal it with my Stern Pioneers. Again, the thing about the Oberkommando West is I would like put something down, like a fuel point. I can't do that because, as we see, they can't put that down. What I will put down, however, is a flak emplacement, because that way it's a nice little defensive bunker in this area. And this flak turret actually does a lot of damage to light vehicles, and so like if they took my Kerbal Wagon, it would easily blow up the Kerbal Wagon because of its autocannon. It can hurt it can hurt scout cars and other devices. It's not best with a lot of infantry, and it can be, the men inside can be knocked out and the enemy can go in it. That's the negative to it. However, except for that small little issue, as long as you keep it defended, it's a pretty good unit. And if there's, let's say, aircraft overhead, it'll shoot that too. I have an MG here, so this thing will block in case, you know, enemy troops come in. I'm also going to put some mines along this sector in case they send some vehicles. All in all, defending this point, keeping our flank secured. Because, sure, they may not be able to bust through this MG field, but let's say they send a tank and some guys around, then we have an issue. But for right now, we're doing pretty good. Again, these guys are in perfect firing position, easily flanking these guys and taking them out very, very well. But if we look at the field of view, again, the flanking, like I said, they've pretty much moved around, and I believe they're going to be taking this point, or they're going to try to flank around this way. But anyway, again, we had really no oh, they're just going to keep, they're going to keep going? Okay. Again, we had no troops to guard the middle. That's the one thing I should have done. I should have probably put some kind of defenses in the middle, at least a couple troops here and there. But again, as you can see, most of the fighting was around these key points on this map. So anyway, I have this MG here. I brought in my flak emplacement because I thought, hey, why not? It's actually a great counter. It was either that or I was going to pick these scout car. And if you're wondering, again, how I got that, the supply trucks at the Oberkommando... Oh, sorry, let me... Again, people, this flak truck is not as OP as the beta, but still, once it's set down, it does a great job. It can easily hold back infantry very, very well, even against other later armored vehicles. Not so much against a tank, unless it's just constantly firing at the tank while it's distracted. Luckily, they flanked. However, my Kerbal Wagon pretty much kept them down. But anyway, so they have this MG here. Try and do some damage. I'm backing that thing up. They have this AT moving up. I'll move that back in a second. And yeah, quite a few vehicles. Now we go over here. I put some mines over here, as we can see. I think they're there and around here. Oh, okay, maybe they did take out my Kerbal Wagon, but in any case, I retreat these guys, because right now I'm making these supply tracks. This is how you upgrade your stuff for Oberkommando West. Oh, that's a nice explosion over there. Pretty much you set these things down, and you pretty much get whatever this is. So, for example, this is the mechanized one, and you get, like, lighter vehicles. This half track, you get like the heavy armor, and this one it's more, you still get armor. I mean, pretty much everything you get for, like, this is their basic infantry package. As you can see, we rely more on armor, however we don't get fuel. So that's the shortcomings of this. Anyway, this can be set as a like a retreat point, so you instead of going all the way to the base, they come here and they can be resupplied and healed. Now, as we can see here, they do have this half track. However, it's a mortar half track, so similar to the one the Germans get. Oh, that's actually a really nice view. That's actually again, I love how this game looks. May not, but as they're using these mortar placements and whatnot to move up. They also have an ambulance, that way they can heal their guys at the front lines. Again, very smart. Luckily, our ally, Backdraft, sorry, again, forget your names now and again, is resupplying his MGs, which again, this MG has the ability to activate that incendiary rounds because it's a star, so let's say they do move any of those up, it's gonna die. But anyway, he's just gonna keep resupplying and move them slightly out of range. What I'm going to do is, I have these guys stationed here. I pop them out of the building. Again, you can deploy them anywhere on the battlefield that has a building. So think of the Soviet tactic where you would see a lot of like random troops pop up. I forget the name of the troops, but they're very cheap and usually died. These things are like special ops, so they're very good. I stole my flak truck here, took some damage, but it's at least keeping them back. And a couple mortar hits are not really going to do much against it. They're trying to move up their AT to try to counter that. However, unfortunately for them, these guys are awesome. They're not backing out without a heavy fight, and they're just going to keep tearing apart these conscripts. Will they die? Oh, they're very lucky they got away. Very lucky. So I'm going to have my guys shoot them right here, because again, AT gun, no good defenses. They're in heavy cover, so they're fine against this AT. Mortar hits them. Oh, two guys. Alright, and I had to retreat them because they took too much fire. However, I'm going to move troops over here. They sent a couple troops to attack, like cut us off. And as you can see, they're right over here as well, because they just went straight through. I did a similar thing as well. I sent troops all the way up to here to decap their point. So it's funny enough, again, if it hit them where they're not exactly hit them at their weakest. So as you can see right here, we don't want to attack now because they have so many defenses. But again, they hit us here, we hit them there. It kind of works out. Again, my MG's doing a really good job in there. I put up a flak turn here, which I don't know why they did incendiary barrage, but hey, flak turn will keep aircraft at bay. But unfortunately, we'll kill these guys unless they retreat. Oh, why go in the middle of that? You're gonna die. I think you're gonna die. Oh, maybe not. Okay, he's being healed maybe. I move up my flak truck to help counter, because it'll take out this and keep that half track at bay. Is that thing gonna die? Oh, he's very lucky. Now there's an AT gun coming over here, which is very bad. They also have this, pretty much it's in the AA half track. Moving up, it's great at tearing apart infantry, bunkers, you name it. So, anyway, wow, that thing's in range, so all they need is sight. However, I'm going to move up my rocket launcher along with these guys. Again, they have the Panzerfaust and bundle grenades, so they're very effective on the front lines. So I move this thing over here to help on defense, and try to move this thing up to hopefully help counter against that. So let's see what happens. Again, it's moving up in the middle of a firing zone. They also have a tank, so it's probably not going to last long. But again, my goal is try to take that thing out. Kind of failed because they had enough AT forces to pretty much tear the thing apart. Again, it's light armored. Not really meant to go against anything that heavy. Now, anything, my guys are right here. Luckily, I have this flak gun, which should do some damage against it, if it will turn. Maybe the smoke is blocking it, but it should turn and actually fire upon that thing. Luckily, these guys are doing some damage against this, along with the other troops. There we go, it's doing some damage. Again, a rear armor hit. It's still doing some fire. I don't know what this thing is doing. Luckily, my ally brought in a Panzer IV, and that, against that little Stewart, that Stewart's going down. Yeah, Panzer IV again, very effective against the, but the Soviets still have the AA gun, the AT gun, along with other forces. Again, as you can see here, they're absolutely spamming the half tracks, mortar half track, AA half track, both the American and Soviet. So they're using a lot of half tracks. I haven't really seen this strategy, but again, all those can reinforce troops. So I mean that's a positive. Over here, as we can see, they're trying to make a push. Our allies are at least. And let's see, Los Ramos and oh wow, they both went the same doctrine, and we both went the same doctrine. That's funny. But they're still having trouble and issues moving up. Again, a lot of AT, mortar half tracks. They have an Oswin here, but it's not exactly going to do a whole lot against AA unless you move around it, but still that's very dangerous. Over here, they did like this. They moved in a bunch of bazooka teams, took out my mechanized support thing. I was really sad because I was about to bring in a Stuka, so I'm going to have to wait for another half track to come down. But in the mean case, I do have this this checkpoint down so I can heal guys right here. Kind of sucks for them because now I can, again, like they're doing, moving guys really close. I move in my bazooka team to help counter though. And as you can see here, they had to retreat because of that. They also tried to move this AA flak truck, but again, it's in the building doing a pretty good job. Oh, and my ally called in like a suppressing run, however the AA gun. Oh, they crashed in their building. Oh, that's awesome. Almost hit their base. That would have been amazing if it like hit over here and took out their guy. Let's see. They have a Dushka over here, so let's see what the enemy has. Let's see, the enemy is Infantry Command, which explained the mortar half tracks. Guards motor coordination. I haven't really used this one. I find it kind of like sporadic, but I know some people do. Infantry Company, again, both sides have it. Lend-Lease Act, and that has the Sherman. Which would it's funny how the Soviets will probably have the Sherman before the Americans. Anyway, so if we look here also, everyone's doing really well, except for bad kind of sucks. Myself and Backdraft are doing excellent. The two on the right, not so much. So, anyway, thanks to Backdraft's Panzer IV, he was able to come in, own that Dushka, which is just the Soviets' I guess most advanced MG they get. If you look over here, if you're wondering what that sound is, I moved my Volksgrenadiers, Volksgrenadier, sorry, take out this fuel point and cap this point. That way it's one less they have, and we can have a defensive line over here. Over here they are pressing pretty hard, however his MG bunker is keeping them suppressed. This flak turn is keeping them back, and I believe my MG died from that flak turn. Great. However, I still have my flak turn over here, so take that. I'm also healing up my troops. I'll send them back in momentarily, and now I'm preparing to make another supply truck. But as you can see here, they just have so many mortars, it's ridiculous. But again, that's how the Oberkommando West and they complement each other. This bunker is only good against infantry, this one is good against everything. Now, I was able to bring in this thing. This is a Jagdtiger, and I brought it in because, again, it's available here. Did that thing just blow up? That thing blew it up! Okay, it's an AT, and I was hoping to snipe some of these guys. However, unfortunately for me, again, it's not exactly the best. Because it doesn't have that long range sight ability. It can fire long range, but this AT and the mines and everything are just gonna blow it up, so I'm not gonna be able to retreat. Yeah, so that was a fail on my part. Again, this is good for taking out tanks, not so much against infantry. However, he's gonna have his infantry move up, and this is what sucks about it. The AT misses that close. How do you miss? Luckily, my ally Backdraft is sending in his forces. But again, this thing has very tough armor in the front, but it's so close to dying, it's ridiculous. This thing's looking away. I mean, if it would actually shoot, it would take it out pretty quickly. This thing is actually doing quite a bit of damage to my damage tank. He was like, what? How'd they get down? I'm like, don't ask. Don't ask. I have my guys over here recapping this point. So as you can see here, they're pressing us pretty effectively. They have the Sherman, a lot of AT, blowing up a lot of our tanks and whatnot, and pushing us back. Over here, they're taking this area back, and I solved this, but again, they're holding these key control points with heavy AT and infantry support and mortar support, so not exactly best for us. We still have a mortar, which is actually doing a lot, and I put my guys in here to try to counter against them. I'm going to get them out and retreat them before they get too close to dying. Run away, run away, run away, run away, stay alive, stay alive, stay alive, and good. Oh, thank God. As you can see here, they have a T-85 moving in. Again, I don't really have anything to take that thing out. The Yag Tiger would have been perfect if it didn't go up here. I told it to come up here. I guess it thought this way was quicker, although I wanted the station over here. Luckily, our ally did a bombing strike, almost killed their infantry. However, I'm going to move up my guys to counteract very shortly. On the enemy team, they're pushing up with a lot of forces, but again, this front's not exactly the best armor. I mean, yes, they have a Sherman and a couple ATs, but, you know, have a good mix of forces, like a bunch of AT units. Again, Bar Seal, very nice. Look at all that AT, plus these infantry support, artillery, and close range guns. That's a forge to be reckoned with, which is enough to kill the Sherman in a few hits. I mean, not the Sherman, the half-track. So anyway, they're moving up, they're doing a lot of AT forces, and this Sherman, which is getting repaired, is about to have a bad day. Oh, and yeah, they're using the support gun to take out the artillery of the... They try to come over here. Nope. Of the Soviet AT, which can fire artillery. They have this Sherman thing here, which is like, oh, I'm going to take this thing out. I'm going to be amazing. Guess what? 1, 2 tanks coming in. Actually, let's see what Backdraft have, because right now he's doing a lot better than I am. Again, he's moving up Panzer IVs, a lot of his troops. They call this bombing strike in, which didn't even kill it. They move these guys up. I really don't have that much to beat them. However, what I do have are some Panzer Shrek guys, so I'm going to try to take them out. I'm going to tell him to retreat, and I'm going to fire some AT rounds at their units. So, fire one. Barely alive. That thing has to retreat, it's so close to dying. This thing, you know, okay. But as you can see here, they moved up their front line very effectively. That's the thing about the new factions, you can heal up on your front line, so it's not the weight of going back to your base. Now, I believe this plane will be shot down by AA forces, but I'm not 100% sure. I moved my guys behind heavy cover. They can't really move tanks in because of the Panzer Shrek. Even though it's one, they still fear it. I moved my guys down here. I'll try to put them in some decent cover. That way I'm just out of range enough, but I can still do some damage. They do move up this Stuart, this is a Stuart or no, I'm sorry, this Mort carriage, I'm sorry. It kind of looks like a Stuart. It's like a mobile, it's a mobile tank that has this nice gun on it. Luckily, this strike, this awesome airstrike by Backdraft completely destroys their forces. However, I have 4-star guys. It's going to take a lot of damage to kill it. Wow, they're using AT to hit this mortar. However, I'm using my rocket to do some damage on there. And I will again fire my bazooka at their tank to try to do some damage. It's at 2-star. I don't want to risk it, so I'm going to retreat it. At this point, he's like, what happened to your guys? I'm like, they all died. So I bring the Stuka because I see they have a lot of guys just camping. And if Stuka's bombs, like, over here would be amazing because you get all those forces along with that major. Yeah, that's a good thing. Now, our allies over here did a really good job. They pushed back all the way over here with a large concentrated force. Again, this is something we kept asking them to do. We also kept asking if they could maybe take this point. We would help with this point, you know, split up the lines. As we can see here, they're sending a Stuart in and a few troops to go along down the center. Which again, something pretty smart. I also am over, anyway, so over here is also a, well, should be. Maybe the bombs took it out, but there was a bunch of dead tanks and whatnot. So I was hoping to maybe just like decommission them and take the resources for fuel, that way we can get something better. Because again, these things and the other things have the ability to pretty much destroy, basically basic fuel points, stuff like that, and then you can make other you can turn it, you turn like the scattered MG or something in around the base into actually something useful. Oh, anti-tank rifle, that would have been helpful. As you can see here, they have a ton of forces over here, pretty much a nice defensive line. My guys are over here, I'm like, let's retreat before they die. Anyway, I'm back, I retreat these guys. As you can see, we are actually, they're putting more pressure on us. Actually, we can see a mixture of guys. We have both purple, orange, red. They're all trying to break us because we're so far still here, we're still fighting. Now, I called in my nice Stuka strike, which did quite a bit of damage to their front line. Their poor guys running, and I think I killed, yeah, I did quite a bit of damage. At least made them rethink their strategy, like, oh my god. So they move with their tanks, try to counter. I'm killing my guys. A lot of artillery over here trying to take this thing out. Luckily, I'm hiding here, so if they fire some artillery shots, the hopefully the rocks will deflect it. But anyway, we have two Panzer IV, I'm sorry, a Panzer IV and a Tiger, as you can see through his heavy armor. Moving up to counter, again, the Oberkommando West is great with heavy armor. The problem is I have no fuel, and because my allies over here let them easily come by and take this thing out, again, it's not much I can do. But as we can see here, a majority of the forces are over here, as we see, because they have barely anything over here, just a nice little small defensive crew. Not much. They have a nice little Sherman flanking, but against a King Tiger, there's no way they can really handle against that. Again, because this thing will just hit things long range. It is a very good tank. And again, these things healing. Great job. And it's like, oh, what do you mean? It's like, oh, sorry. It's like, what do you mean? It's like that thing. It's like, well, it's like that thing's great defense. Even if that thing is at half health, good luck trying to kill it. Good luck. And future commentary will explain the durability of it and like the sheer veracity of it. Anyway, as you see, I have 5-star guys, so this thing is like trying to kill me. Doesn't do a good job. They knock it out with a missile. I'm sorry, Panzerschreck. And their guys are like, oh, let's move up, let's move up. So of course I'm just gonna be like, I'm out, peace out. But I'm gonna move up my Fallschirmjägers along with my Puma. Yes, I got a Puma because I needed something with a long gun to hit them. And I was hoping I could try maybe snipe some of these T-34-85s. As seen here, I don't really have enough for any of these. And it's, as you can see here, another excellent strike by my Stuka. Kind of destroyed their infantry front line here, so my Fallschirmjägers could take them out very effectively. And most of the infantry is now gone. They now have to resupply the MG, the AT, and try to heal that. I mean, it's not going. They're losing a lot of guys from my Stuka, which is great. Anyway, Puma's doing some nice sniping. Again, it's supposed to be against tanks, not really against infantry. And this is the perfect moment. I'm gonna lure their T-34-85s. So this thing is gonna retreat. That's weird. It like shot and stuck, which was a bit interesting. So I'm gonna try to have this thing run. It kept stopping. I'm like, no, don't stop. Just keep running. It's like, I don't know why. It's like, duh, duh, duh. It did some nice hits on there, but again, it's meant just for a scout, not against heavy tanks. So I had to move. As soon as I see this, I'm like, oh no, fall back, fall back. I have my Fallschirmjägers try to shoot a Panzerschreck at it, just do some damage. In any case, I have more of these guys coming up with some rocket launchers, because unfortunately they died from the most recent attack, and as you can see, I barely have anything defending. Luckily, my ally over here is like, we're gonna come in from behind and just mess your day up. And a Tiger, yes, they have an AT here, but most of these vehicles say goodbye. I like how they're moving their troops forward to get away from the behind their lines. Also, an airstrike was called in, so if we watch, an excellent strike that almost takes out the majority of their forces. So he's moving his Tiger back. He's actually maneuvering it very effectively. Threw some AT grenades on them. Again, unfortunately, I believe this AT is going to be the end of him. Now he's going to slowly retreat behind his base. Again, he's showing his rear armor, so one good shot will probably kill it. But again, our allies also coming in from behind with some rocket launchers from Panzerschrecks, which is pretty much very effective against the basic T-34. We look over here. I'm moving out my infantry to help counter, which is helping take out a lot of their guys. So if we look right now, the infantry, their guys are actually being flanked. So the troops coming in from this side, along with my troops coming in from that side, plus the Tiger moving in, pretty much rendered their force ineffective. And of course, let's get a great shot of this the King Tiger, which is still taking a ton of hits. It took 4 or 5 different AT hits, and still managed to walk out of there pretty much unscathed. So he's moving up troops over here. We were like, thank you so much, because we were just getting pounded over here by 3 separate guys. It's ridiculous. They call in some incendiary barrage to help hold it. I move on my MG to just help try to hold this point. again, being healed up, which is very nice. I sent this guy over healed to get healed because, again, this thing here heals vehicles. A lot of people forget that. Also, just in case, you can always do this where you get more fuel transfer and stuff like that. Now that I finally have this truck up, I'm probably going to eventually set... I was eventually going to set it down, but I never really got time to. Now I'm like, maybe I should. MG's still up. These guys are holding this point, moving these guys up. As you can see here, most of their front line is like falling back. Their Tiger's barely alive. The other one's on fire. A lot of things on fire. And most of their infantry is pretty much gone. We look over here. Nice supply truck holding that area. Personally, I probably would have put it over here. Not so close to the front line. But hey, I guess, you know, that's people's opinion of what should be happening. Oh, here comes my Stuka. Now, here's the thing. I didn't like this building very much. Much better. Don't you agree? Also kind of blows up this building. A little more over could have killed it, but hey, it's enough damage to where a couple shots, they're dead. Move up MG. I have another scout car moving up to help counter. Moving up a lot of infantry. I have to retreat these guys. Otherwise, they're going to die. I should retreat these guys. Yep, there they go. I'll move up my MG very shortly. Have this thing fire momentarily, hopefully. And yeah. As you can see here, drop another Tiger. Bring up a scout car to help against light vehicles, such as this thing. And yeah. Oh my god, yes. This is where we're ending it. They did this huge, massive assault. Oh, that's pretty cool. Again, this King Tiger is taking a pounding, and again, it has very thick armor. So a lot of these Shermans are like, can't even pierce it. And the Shermans have very light armor, so good, 1 or 2 shots will kill this thing. But here's the thing, Shermans are meant to move. That's what people forget. Have the Sherman keep moving, because it has stabilizers to make sure. Wow, it almost wish it was shot by its own guy. That was funny. Okay, so great, playback's over. Like, once again, I'm sorry I can't move around, but otherwise, again, we killed some of their vehicles over here, made them push back, and we were taking over these areas. They were trying to take this point over, but it was too late for them. But otherwise, this was a pretty good game. Like I said, for this game, I guess this map, if you want to go fuel heavy, this is a good way to go, because the flak half track is very good, or the A, you know, a vehicle. The Puma's great, again, not against T85s, but if you have, let's say, one of these things, one of their normal scout cars, even like the half track with the AA turn on it, it's pretty good. Again, just long range sniping. Again, this half track's great for explosive results. The searchlight, I should have probably brought that in. That would have allowed us to see exactly what they had. But again, our front line was kind of faltering toward the end, so I, you know, wasn't exactly the safest. I never brought this in because I didn't see the point. The Stuka, I mean, if you want to bring this in over the Stuka, it's a pretty good artillery or like a howitzer type gun. But this support gun is not exactly the best for, how do I say this nicely? Again, for doing the very explosive result. But it does fire more than the Stuka, so it's up to you. I mishandled the Jagdpanzer. That's definitely my bad. But otherwise, it is great. As you can saw with that front armor, it took a couple hits. Nothing. So this thing has very good armor. Just keep it in the back. Do not push this thing like I did the front. That was a terrible idea. But over here, this thing again has the light tank, the Oberstolten. Again, you need these two before you bring this thing out. It has the light tank, the medium Panther, and the Sturm Tiger. Sturm Tiger is great against blowing stuff up. Great artillery. The Panther is very good. Medium tank. It's very effective against pretty much. I could say, again, like any Panther, it could probably take on a T-85 or a couple T-34s very effectively. Even a Sherman or two, if you use a good support tactics and know how to manage it correctly. Light tank, again, it's a light tank. You know what you're getting from that. But yeah, also, again, this thing comes with like a nice little turret on it, so it can shoot down air. I believe, let's see, yeah, a flak cannon. So I believe it can shoot down aircraft along with these things. But again, those things are actually pretty effective. A couple aircraft was shot down by it, so hey, good for us. They did have a lot of AA on their side, so all of our planes were also shot down. So hate to have been the guy's bombers. Sorry, Backdraft's bombers. Why did I forget the guy's name? sorry backdraft, bombers that kept going over the field and kept crashing into their base, which was actually pretty funny. But luckily, with support of our allies, we were able to retake a good chunk of the map and slowly push them back. Again, I probably have to give it to that King Tiger that pretty much stopped any advance. They're like, okay, push over here, because we can't fight that King Tiger. Push over here, and then of course they couldn't do that here, and even over here on the far left corner where we were stationed at, they couldn't advance because we had enough defenses, but we couldn't advance because they had enough defenses. But the Stuka and other artillery and the mortars were helping clear the way, along with those tigers. Man, I love backdraft tigers. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and see you next time. So right now it's a close fight. Very effective. Green brought up his nice little tank. This thing is a Jackson tank destroyer. Very long range, very powerful gun. Sucks against infantry, but great, you could say, against buildings and structures. There's the Jagdpanzer, again, Su-85, very long range. Firing upon here. He can't really see it, but he can, so he's going to have to fall back. All the American tanks don't really have that great of armor. Like, just, that's the thing. They sacrifice armor for versatility, speed, and, unique firepower. Like this one's a mortar, this one is, again, very long range, very good against the Jagdpanzer, you get a couple of those, and this one, of course,